Hello there, and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. And today, let's talk about it. Once again, we're back on the ending issue, and it's because of the new casting of Supergirl. Now, I already did a video about Sasha Cali, being cast as Supergirl. And funnily enough, I didn't even mention race because she's a Latina, but I didn't even mention race because I didn't think it was important, which was very, very weird. And so, the normal crowd on YouTube doing the, this character being race bent. And it seems kind of bizarre to me. In this case, you're talking about different types of Caucasian women playing, a character who hasn't even really been established, particularly that she's anything except Caucasian. It doesn't say whether she's fairer skinned, lighter skinned. She has been depicted mainly as fairer skinned ever since her first appearance in DC Comics, but nonetheless, I mean, it's not an established tenet of her character. But I guess in there lies the problem. So I want to talk about this because it's been an issue for me for a while as somebody who is both for race bending in certain situations and against it where it doesn't make sense. So I want to go to a YouTuber. I really, really like her, actually, and we've had a bit of back and forth sometimes. She's always just a really clever girl or young lady, pardon me, or woman, that always just makes really, really good points. I don't think we agree on the same things politically, but she always expresses herself very clearly and concisely and openly. And is always open to feedback. So I appreciate that about her. But this is, I guess it's Tristan Rigg from, it's Nerdette's Newsstand, the YouTube channel. And I just listened to some of her reasons about race bending and, why she thinks it happens, and then whether she thinks it's okay or not. So let's go into it.
They are. You can't change them. And I feel like a lot of times it's changed for a few reasons, right? There's only really 3 reasons why franchises like DC or Marvel will race swap characters. 1, so it can fit their liking. 2, so it can fit their social agenda, or both. The majority of Hollywood is unfortunately oblivious to the idea that adapting and staying true to the original source material is a sure way to guarantee moviegoers or, HBO Max subscribers, whichever you wish. And the reason these characters have lasted for so long is because they are beloved. Now, I'm only bringing this up for 2 reasons. We have 1 rumor and 1 confirmed of new castings when it comes to DC Comics. Now, I know people are going to be in the comments saying, well, a lot of characters from DC are primarily white. They want representation. They want more diversity. And that's great. But DC has 10,000 characters. Yeah, it's a lot. They have 10,000 characters to choose from when telling a story. The reason they choose names like Constantine or Supergirl is because they are money makers. And without giving the real characters like Bumblebee or Black Lightning a actual platform, you will never get these amazing characters front and center. And then when you do give them a platform, specifically talking about Nubia here, you have something come out like The Real One, where it is all about how society doesn't see Nubia as a person because she is Black. Yes, that is real, and it comes out next week. I will be reviewing it. Now, all of these things can work and DC found out a way to do it. And I'm going to talk about that just a little bit. But before we get into that, make sure you are subscribed. As always, hit that like button. Let me know down below what you think of the two castings I'm going to be talking about and what you think of the ideas behind the Flashpoint paradox that we will be getting from DC Comics. Now, first, let's talk about HBO Max. We have been promised J.J. Abrams would be working on some League type stuff. Now, we are getting new reports that the Constantine HBO Max show is going to recast the character. This will be coming from J.J. Abrams. We will not be seeing Matt Ryan, who plays Constantine and is widely loved for that character when it comes to the CW. We will not be seeing Matt Ryan at all. We will not be seeing a British actor at all. They are looking for a BIP, the BIPOC character, a Black Indigenous person of color. Okay. Are they going to be British? Are they going to be blonde? They're talking about a Riza Ahmed type character. Again, ask you the same, same question. Are they going to be British? Are they going to be blonde? Are they going to say, oh, bloody hell? I have to hear him say.
Okay, so I wanted to stop here because Riz Ahmed is one of my, I think I've got basically all of her points down. Again, this is one of these kind of areas where I disagree with her. I do agree that, sometimes race bending is done for the wrong reason, and it's done for cynical kind of reasons where it's just trying to, I wouldn't say it's like forced representation, but I think it does a disrespect to the character and to the intelligence of the audience when you suggest things like, oh, let's make Superman black, or let's make Batman black. And I'm going to go into the Superman being black thing in a minute, because often the retort to that is Superman's an alien, so if he's an alien, he could be anything. And it's just like, read a fucking comic, guys. There's some very basic reasons why logistically Superman being black is very unrealistic. But anyway, we'll talk about that. But as far as somebody like Constantine goes, now Constantine is a great example of a character where I don't think there is anything that and please correct me in the comment section, like and subscribe and connect and do tell me in the comment section if I'm right or wrong about this. But I don't think there's anything about Constantine that has established why he must be a certain race. The comics at all. I really don't. I have no, clue of, is there something about him? Does he come from a certain background or family or whatever that necessitates that he be white? But I wanted to put this out because the first thing I thought is, does Riz Ahmed have blonde hair? And of course, I'm a big fan of Riz Ahmed, and as you can see here, him sporting very much blonde hair. And of course, she asked the other question, because I don't know, Americans seem to feel that all British people are white, and maybe they speak like the Queen or speak a bit of Cockney. I'm doing Australian right now, but they're quite Cockney in it, and I'm still doing fucking Australian. But anyway. They either think we speak like this or that, like the Beatles or something, or the Queen, and we're all white, and it's a very strange misconception. So I just thought, how bizarre. I can't think of anybody more British and more in the line of the way, he's almost one, Riz Ahmed is a fantastic actor, but secondly, even beyond that, You know, if you listen to how he speaks, you know, you'll realize he's as well, he's not as cockney as Mutt, but he's very, very British, you know, up with the slang kind of guy. So it's very bizarre to me. I don't know if he's going to put on airs. I'm probably going to get like, he's going to put up on airs in this these interviews and sound much more you know, posh than he usually does. But let's hope that he doesn't.
Kick these off, because this is primarily an audience of SAG-AFTRA actors, by asking about your SAG card. But the last time I asked you, you weren't quite sure which film it was. So I actually want to ask another question, which was, when did you know you wanted to be an actor? Was there a defining moment? Were you someone?
He's such a great actor as well. I'd love to see him play.
I'm definitely someone who grew up imitating and acting out movies that I've seen. The problem was that all the early movies that I saw were kind of ones that I saw through a crack in a door while my uncles were watching things like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
So they were quite gruesome. I remember some early them.
Yeah. So basically, this is Riz Ahmed. Basically, he is like, as I suspected, he's trying to sound quite, you know, well spoken. And he is obviously, he's an intelligent guy and he's well spoken. But I'm telling you, this guy is like street. This guy is up street. All right, let me see when because he does these raps. Let me see if he speaks more ghetto when he's. You can see him here. He's like a ghetto kind of fucking kid, you know, who's just happens to be a really fucking good actor. He was even in a film where he was just playing like this really fucking cockney guy. And you can see the really interesting face bending of you know, in a way, this is where he lives.
This is England, which we're living in. A kitchen simmering, women in hijabs, syringe pop star, promise of a Patel as a man you star with a you can the man you are, stand opposite, so we drink too hard. The banks rob you, and the news is half the truth. Tapping boobs.
Okay, so here we go. The point I'm trying to make here, very, you know, like with Riz Ahmed, I should have looked up an interview first. But the point I'm trying to make here with Riz Ahmed is you can't get anybody more street British than him. And if that's what Constantine is, he's like Cockney, which is not something that is spoken as much anymore in the UK. We've more moved on to rude boy. So the modern Constantine would much more likely be rude boy. And that's what Riz Ahmed is. And that would be an interesting update to such a character without, you know, taking away what's core to the character, which is he's kind of like, he's edgy, he's from the streets, he's streetwise, he's street smart, he's quick talking. So that is exactly, I think, would be perfect for Riz Ahmed. And I hope, you know, and the blonde hair, I mean, it's like, have you heard of hair dye? You can see right here that, again, absolutely, he would be, you know, a perfect actor. And to be honest, to be very fair, I mean, they could go with him actually being Asian, and that would be actually nice, representing him as Asian. But he could just as easily be a dark Caucasian person. He could be acting as a dark Caucasian person just as easily as he could be an Asian person. I've seen him in movies where he is not playing an Asian. He is playing like basically, he was in that movie, he was really fantastic in it with Jake Gyllenhaal called Night Stalker, or not, Nightcrawler. And I'm pretty sure he's playing a white guy, like in that movie. I'm not like he's playing a white surfer dude. So again, you know, I think we have to be careful, you know, with the assumptions, because really what she's saying is she's looking at a brown person and she's judging them simply off of appearance and not seeing what they might be capable of. And a character like Constantine, I'm sorry, is not the type of character that you kick up a fuss if he's turned black, if he's turned white, if he's turned ginger, if he's, because the core of the character, nothing is tied to that character that makes them racially have to be white. Now, would I say about this, race swap? What's the reason for it? Let's dig into the reason for it, because if you dig into the reason for it, you might be able to anticipate the quality of the movie. Now, if you dig into the reason for it and, they're just looking for the best actor and, Riz Ahmed comes up and he smashes the casting and even makes them think of the character in a new direction, then you can be rest assured that you're probably looking at a good movie. Or somebody who's doing it without cynical reasons. If the reason is that they want to race bend because they want to bring out another aspect of the character, maybe they want to connect Constantine's mystical abilities and magic knowledge with a past in the mystical Asia or Orient or whatever. And they're thinking, okay, what about a British Asian guy to take on that role, to give a new dimension to how you can look at Constantine? Because we've seen him as the British Cockney guy over and over again. Let's have a different dimension to him. Then again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad reason to cast an Asian. Now, if you're just casting an Asian because you're like, oh, we need to fill a quota to how many blacks and Asians we have in this movie, then I think you might run into trouble with the writing. Then I think you might run into trouble with, the quote unquote woke agenda behind it, and the messaging. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but then you get the thick layer of, very, very unsubtle messaging that kind of ruins the movie for you. It's just like when you're hammering a point home, it very much can take you out of the movie. If it's done subtly, like in The Dark Knight, where they have political messages, or in Wonder Woman, they have a few political messages. Even in Iron Man, certain other movies, they have political messages, but the story is more important than the message. Whereas in Batwoman, clearly, the message is what's, most of those CW shows nowadays, it's the message. It's feminist. Oh, it's this. That is more important than the story. It's the message guiding the story. And that's where I think these things become very, very misguided. Now, I want to talk over